The BrahMos Supersonic Cruise Missile has become one of the most talked about weapons systems in the world, and for good reason. Designed as a joint project between India and Russia, the BrahMos represents a technological leap in missile development, combining speed, accuracy, and destructive power in a single package. But what makes this missile truly significant is not only its impressive performance but also its impact on the defense strategies of nations that operate it. In the case of the Philippines, the BrahMos is nothing less than a game changer. By the year 2026, this supersonic missile system is expected to completely transform the defensive capabilities of the country, giving it a credible deterrent against any hostile force in the region. To understand why, we must look at the BrahMos itself, the growing defense partnership between India and the Philippines, and the broader strategic picture in the Asia-Pacific region. At its core, the BrahMos is a supersonic cruise missile capable of flying at nearly 3 times the speed of sound, which is Mach 2.8 to Mach 3. This speed is what makes it so deadly, because it drastically reduces the time an enemy has to detect and intercept it. Most traditional air defense systems are built to deal with slower subsonic cruise missiles or ballistic threats with predictable flight paths. The BrahMos, however, flies low, hugs the terrain, and arrives at its target with such velocity that it becomes nearly impossible to stop. Add to this its versatility, it can be launched from land, sea, air, or even submarines, and you have one of the most flexible strike weapons in the modern arsenal. Its range, which was initially capped at 290 kilometers due to international agreements, has now been extended to beyond 400 kilometers in newer versions. This means a country like the Philippines can cover large swaths of the South China Sea, enforcing its sovereignty and protecting its maritime interests. India has used the BrahMos not only as a weapon of deterrence but also as a symbol of its growing status as a defense exporter. By supplying BrahMos systems to the Philippines, India has made its first major missile export deal, one that signals its emergence as a key player in the global defense industry. For the Philippines, the acquisition is equally groundbreaking. For decades, the armed forces of the Philippines lagged behind its neighbors in terms of advanced weaponry, relying heavily on outdated equipment and foreign security assurances. The decision to procure BrahMos systems marked a bold shift. Manila was now investing in high-end, state-of-the-art weaponry that could stand toe-to-toe with the systems of regional powers. By 2026, the Philippines is expected not only to have fully deployed its initial BrahMos batteries but also to have expanded the program with additional units. Reports already indicate that the country is planning to acquire more BrahMos coastal batteries to further strengthen its deterrence. This expansion reflects the urgency with which the Philippines is addressing its maritime security challenges, especially in the South China Sea, where tensions with China have escalated over territorial disputes. With BrahMos batteries positioned along its coastlines, the Philippines will be able to project power far into contested waters, sending a clear signal that it can strike back against any aggression. This capability, even if not equal to the sheer size of China's arsenal, creates a powerful psychological and strategic balance, making any hostile action far riskier and more costly. The term, game changer, is not used lightly here. For the Philippines, which for years depended on external allies like the United States for advanced strike capabilities, having its own BrahMos systems means achieving a level of self-reliance and credibility it never had before. This is not just about hardware, it is about national pride, sovereignty, and the ability to stand on equal footing in the regional security environment. The Philippines' move to acquire BrahMos also strengthens its defense ties with India, opening the door to deeper military technical cooperation. India gains a trusted partner in Southeast Asia, while the Philippines gains access to one of the most reliable missile systems on the planet. From a technical perspective, the BrahMos is often described as unstoppable. Its supersonic speed ensures that it cannot be easily intercepted, while its ability to perform high maneuvers during the terminal phase makes it even harder to shoot down. The missile is guided by an advanced navigation system and has pinpoint accuracy, capable of striking ships at sea or land-based targets with devastating precision. In a real-world combat scenario, even a small number of BrahMos missiles could disable or destroy high-value assets like warships, air defense sites, or command centers. For the Philippines, this means that even against a larger adversary, it now has the means to inflict significant damage and deter escalation. By 2026, the global perception of the Philippines as a weak link in regional security is likely to change. The deployment of BrahMos sends a powerful message not only to potential aggressors but also to allies and partners. It shows that Manila is serious about defending its sovereignty and is willing to invest in cutting-edge technology to do so. This strengthens the credibility of its alliances, especially with the United States, Japan, and other like-minded countries in the Indo-Pacific. For India, the successful deployment of BrahMos in the Philippines enhances its reputation as a reliable defense supplier, paving the way for further exports to other nations in Southeast Asia and beyond. The strategic impact of BrahMos cannot be separated from the broader geopolitical context. The South China Sea remains one of the most contested regions in the world, with multiple nations claiming overlapping territories. China's assertive actions have raised alarm across the region, prompting smaller states to seek ways to balance the power equation. The Philippines, located at the front line of this maritime flashpoint, has often found itself vulnerable. With BrahMos in its arsenal, Manila gains not only a powerful defensive tool but also leverage in diplomatic negotiations. Knowing that the Philippines can strike back with precision missiles changes the calculus for any potential aggressor, making coercion and intimidation less effective. It is also important to note the symbolic dimension of the BrahMos acquisition. For the Filipino people, the sight of their armed forces operating a world-class missile system fosters confidence and national unity. For India, the success of BrahMos exports validates decades of investment in indigenous defense technology. The collaboration between the two nations reflects a shared vision of peace through strength and a commitment to securing open and stable sea lanes in the Indo-Pacific. Looking ahead to 2026, one can imagine the Philippines conducting live-fire exercises with BrahMos missiles, showcasing their range and accuracy to both domestic and international audiences. These demonstrations will serve as a reminder that the country is no longer a passive actor in regional security but an active participant with credible military capabilities. In times of crisis, the very presence of BrahMos batteries could deter escalation, preventing conflict by raising the costs of aggression to unacceptable levels. Ultimately, the BrahMos Supersonic Cruise Missile represents more than just a weapon. It embodies a strategic shift, a partnership between India and the Philippines, and a new chapter in regional defense. By 2026, when its deployment reaches maturity, the BrahMos will indeed be the game changer that redefines the balance of power in the Asia-Pacific. It will stand as a symbol of technological excellence, political resolve, and the enduring principle that peace is best preserved when nations have the strength to defend themselves.